जय राधा माधव कुंजा विहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंजा विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदना व्रज जनरंजन। यशोदानंदना व्रज जनरंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। राधा माधव कुंजा विहारी। राधा माधव कुंजा विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। राधा माधव कुंजा विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। राधा माधव कुंजा विहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम राम हरे हरे। जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे। जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे। जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम। जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम। जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा। जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा। जय गौरानिता जय गौरानिता जय गौरानिता जय गौरानिता। निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल। निताय गौरांग निताय गौरांग निताय गौरांग निताय गौरांग निताय गौरांग। जय गौर हरि गौरा गौरा गौर हरि गौरा गौरा गौर हरि। निताय गौर हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, निताय गौर हरि बोल। जय सच्चिनंदना गौर हरि, जय सच्चिनंदना गौर हरि, गौरा गौरा गौर हरि, गौरा गौरा गौर हरि, निताय गौर हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, निताय गौर हरि बोल। जय प्रभुपदा, जय प्रभुपदा, जय प्रभुपदा, जय प्रभुपदा, जय जय प्रभुपाद, 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। जय ओम विश्वपाद परमहंस परिव्राज काचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद जीवन के ऐसे भक्त वेदांत सांस्कृतिक की जाए। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज काचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद जीवन के शील भक्त सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। आनंद कोटि वैष्णव की जाय। नमाचार्य सरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय। श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगम यमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। Thy guru premanande hare hare bol. All glories to assemble devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to assemble devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to assemble devotees Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Prabhupada ki jai. ओम विष्णु पदाय कृष्ण विष्टाय पुत्र श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नाम नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवाद पांचाच्यतार। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 2, titled Divinity and Divine Service, verse number 22. Please chant, repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet. Nasta prayeshu apadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati utama sloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. Hari Om Tat Sat. So we're reading from 1.2.22. अतो वै कवयो नित्यं भक्तिं परमया मुडा वासुदेवे भगवती कुर्वन्ति आत्मप्रसादनीम्। अतो वै कवयो नित्यं भक्तिं परमया मुडा वासुदेवे भगवती कुर्वन्ति आत्मप्रसादनीम्। अतो वै कवयो नित्यं भक्तिं परमया मुडा वासुदेवे भगवती कुर्वन्ति आत्मप्रसादनीम्। Synonyms. Atha, therefore, why certainly, kavayaha, all transcendentalists, nityam, from time immemorial, bhaktim, service unto the Lord, paramaya, supreme, muda, with great delight, Vasudeve, Sri Krishna, Bhagavati, the personality of Godhead, Kurvanti, do render, Atma, self, Prasadanim, that which enlivens. Translation by Venkateswara Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Certainly, therefore, since time immemorial, all transcendentalists have been rendering devotional service to Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, with great delight, because such devotion service is enlivening to the self. Please repeat. Certainly, therefore, since time immemorial, all. 1 to 22. Yeah, translation. Certainly, therefore, since time immemorial, all transcendentalists have been rendering devotion service to Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, with great delight, because such devotion service is enlivening to the self. We'll try to understand this verse, what exactly here Nityam is used, what it means, what is it means, Ata, therefore, what here Sukadeva Goswami is speaking to Parikshit Maharaj, what exactly is speaking. So we'll try to understand and the qualities of the Supreme Lord, why it is mentioned as Paramaya, and then purport you can see clearly. Krishna Prabhupada is talking about the ultimate, the essence, the conclusion. So he is Supreme Personality of God, Sri Krishna, out of all incarnation. The speciality of devotions of Prabhupada, that's what he's talking about. So we'll try to understand it. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langete Girim Yat Krupa Tamaham Mande Sri Gurum Devatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Yeswaram Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Krupa Sindhubhaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantinam Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktavan ki jai. So, here the first chapter called Questions by the Sages. Sonaka and other rishis assembled in Naimisharanya asking the questions to Suta Goswami, and Suta Goswami is addressing in replying to those questions. The 6 questions were asked in the first chapter. Sorry, we had a lot of gap in last few weeks. Some of the festivals programs back to back, so we didn't have class. So that's we're coming back. Just to recap, the 6 questions asked by Saunaka and other rishis to Suta Goswami is: first question is, what is the essence of all the scriptures? And the second was, what is the ultimate good for the people in general? Sreya, not prayer, temporary, ultimate good. Third question is, why did Krishna appear in the womb of Mother Devaki and Vasudeva? Then the fourth question is, please narrate the incarnations, gunavataras of the Supreme Lord. Then the fifth one is the Leela, the other Leela avataras of the Supreme Lord. Fifth one. And the sixth one is, when Krishna left this planet, where did all the religion take and shelter of? These are the 6 questions asked in the first chapter, questions by the sages. Now in the second chapter, very, very prominent and very important and fundamental. In this chapter, that's why the title is called Divinity and Divine Service, because what they are asking in these 6 questions, we can clearly see. The first 3 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam is establishing the Sambandha, Avideya, Prayojana. It is establishing the supreme absolute truth. Krishna is Krishna. Raso Vai Saha is the origin of all the rasas, starting from conjugal rasa, original rasa. Janmadhyasya Taha means not only creation, maintenance, and destruction, it also means all the rasas are coming from Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. And then the second verse is talking about Avideya, third verse is talking Prayojana. And then further these 6 questions are elaborated in those 22 verses. Then the second chapter begin in response. In brief, these questions, answers to these questions were given in the second, third, and fourth. And then the whole Srimad Bhagavatam is actually in response to these 6 questions. So brief answers are given in this, and especially in this chapter, second chapter, Divinity and Divine Service is important because briefly the answers are given, especially for the second question. First, second, third questions are answered in this chapter. What is the essence of all the scriptures has been given, which is the as Bhagavad Dharma. And the second question also, what is the ultimate good for the people? Executing the pure devotion service, and that executing that Bhagavad Dharma. And then the third one. So those are the answered here in this. So we'll go. And then the 2.14 to 21. So are the very, very important verses where it is detailing out the how a living entity, the practitioner, can go from one step to another step, and ultimately starting from Adav Shraddha to Sadhakanam Ayam Premno Pradur Bhavet Krama Adav Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sango Tata Bhajana Kriya Tata Anarda Nivritti Syat Tata Nishta Tata Ruchi Tata Asakti Tata Prema Abhyadunchati. So one, the practitioner can go step by step provided they follow the direction in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Starting with others at the faith, non the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even Bhagavad Gita introduction that is mentioned. Without faith, one cannot understand. Bhagavad Gita, we see that again and again, multiple places. Ashrata Dhana Purusha, Dharmasyasya Param Tapa, Aprapyama Nivartante Mrityu Samsara Vartamani. One who doesn't have a faith on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, then he cannot understand the Bhagavad Gita or any transcendental subject, whether Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam or Chaitanya Charitamrita, any extra devotion. So you cannot understand. So one must have faith, theoretically accept Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then gradually, more and more understand Nityam. We'll come to that Nityam word here. Very important word. So the Bhagavad Dharma, that's why the starting with faith, then Adha Srita Tata Sadhu starting, then the second is association of devotees, then the third one is Bhajana Kriya, next surrendering to a spiritual master, then the Anarda Nivritti after initiation, fourth step, Anarda Nivritti Syat, then the Tato Nishta, then we'll come to the living entity comes to the Nishta. Anarda Nivritti is a big, long duration. It can take many lifetimes also, depending on how seriously we execute. So it can be also 15, 20 years, 30 years. It can be even lesser than that. But if we are really serious, it's up to the seriousness coming to Nishta. And we reach to 75% of anarthas are cleared, that we'll come to the Nishta stage. Nishta, then Ruchi, developing a taste, fixed up in devotion, that is Nishta. Not, we may be fixed up at certain level, but that's not the actual Nishta. Many anarthas has to be removed, come to the Nishta. So, Nishta, Ruchi is the taste for the holy name, taste for service, taste for worshipping the Lord, taste for offering many services to the Lord, taste for pleasing the Lord, taste for pleasing the spiritual master and devotees. So much taste, intense desire is there. Then the Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, complete attachment to the Lord and devotees and Guru. And then Asakti, then Bhava. This Asakti and Bhava are the stage where we see, then the examples are there. These stages are explained in this chapter, and then gradually third chapter is explaining, because the fourth and fifth questions are incarnations, so that is explained there. So first, third, second, third are explained here. Then the fourth, fifth are being addressed gradually in brief. These are all in brief. But then fourth and fifth onwards, gradually the examples are given. Now we are talking about the stages. Then who has performed it? How do we understand that it is possible? So then the Narada Muni's first example, like that, the whole Srimad Bhagavatam is being given to study these great transcendental personalities, the spiritual masters, and understand how they performed, what lessons we need to learn from each of those personalities, whether Narada Muni, Bhishma Pitama, Pandavas, Prakshit Maharaj. All these examples are there in Canto 1, gradually Canto 2 onward. So many examples we see. So we have a lot of lessons to learn. So this way, Anarda Nivritti, Nishta, Ruchi, the Asakti is Baba stage is the where ecstatic symptoms, or sometimes Lord appears, Lord gives his audience in terms of form or is audio, means just they will be able to hear the voice of the Supreme Lord, like Narada Muni has heard. It narrates that experience to the Vyasdev, what has happened, how are you able to remember your previous lifetime. You are not Narada Muni before, you are son of a Sudrani. How did you become Narada Muni? How did you remember? Generally, you can't remember previous life. How did you remember? So he was narrating that whole experience So in Asakti and Bhava stage, Narada Muni was able to get a glimpse of audience of the Supreme Lord, and then he disappeared. Just to increase his attachment, he has given that audience, and then he left. So then he further went on progressing on Bhava stage. Then finally, Krishna Prema. That is the last stage. And these are the various stages are especially described in this 17 to 21 especially. If you look at 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, also Prabhupada is quoting these 5 verses there, 17 to 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Srunotam sa kata Krishna punya sravana kirtan hridayam tastoy avadran vidno suhrut satam. From there, nasta prayeshu avadresh nityam bhagavad seva bhagavati uttama sloke bhakti bhavati naistaki. So that's why the hearing, this nityam, here it is mentioned. So after explaining all these, before that also there are verses 1.2.6. Krishna is emphasizing this Bhagavad Dharma. Parikshan Sukadeva Goswami speaking. What is the essence of all Bhagavad Dharma means? Completely Sravanam and Kirtanam. Completely executing the Dharma given, especially whatever Lord Krishna has spoken. What must be done by a human being in this human form of life. That is executing the devotion service, pure devotion service. That is especially Sravanam and Kirtanam. That we'll discuss a little more. It is concluding in this verse. So that's why Sravanam and Kirtanam, that increases the faith, gradually increase, then we'll come to that association. That Sususho Siddhadhanasya has been given, then Sravanam, Kirtanam, then Nasta Prayesh Abhadresh. That before Sravanam and Kirtanam, this Sususho Siddhadhanasya, that is the Sadhu Sangha, faith, and then associating with devotee, then Sravanam and Kirtanam, Bhajana Kriya. Then Anardhana Vurti, Nasta Prayesh Abhadresh Nityam Bhava. Then we come to that, what is that? Tada Rajastamo Bhava Kamalo Vada Yeche Cheta Yetairana Vitam Sitan Satve Presidat. Then gradually Sitan Satve Presidat. Then Nista, that Nasta Prayesh Abhadresh verse is talking about Anardhana Vurti, and also at the end Nista, both versions. Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki, that Naistiki Bhakti. That's why it is mentioned. In the Bhajana Kriya also, those stages are there. Bhajana Kriya, there is Anishtita Bhajana Kriya and Nishtita Bhajana Kriya. In the beginning, Bhajana Kriya means taking initiation. We may have some faith, some fixed up, but may not have fully fixed up. So initially it is Anishtita Bhajana Kriya, then gradually more and more we follow the Guru, more and more we try to implement, follow those instructions, then gradually come to the Nishtita Bhajana Kriya. So that's why this Nasta Prayesh, gradually Anaddas will clear up after the initiation more and more. To the degree we follow, to the degree we surrender, then the Anardhana Vurti clears, then we come to the Nishta. That's the last word is Nishta is mentioned. Then this Tada Rajastama, this mode of passion and ignorance completely wiped out. More and more, a little bit tinges, flavors are there, but mostly in goodness, little flavors of passion is there. So the gradually living entity will move from Nishta to Ruchi when he is in goodness, predominantly in goodness. Then gradually will move up to the Asakti and Bhava. That is Evam Prasanna Manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga Mukta Sangasya Jayati. So that is the liberation, that is Asakti and Bhava is almost like liberation, ecstatic symptoms arises. So many Nasta Sattvic Vichar. We see many examples in Srimad Bhagavatam. So that then finally the last snares of the passion, even goodness, because the spiritual world is called Visuddha Sattva, which means pure goodness. Because here in the material world it has some tinges of modes of passion. So that's why, or ignorance. So that's why goodness is not pure goodness. So when we say goodness, predominantly in goodness, there are still tinges of passion and ignorance. So that's gradually as we move on to these stages, then gradually we'll come to that last verse, 21 verse is talking about all the knots in the heart. We discuss in great detail. I'm just giving a synopsis. Where it is mentioned, Vidyate Hridaya Grante Chiddante Sarva Samsakshiyante Chasya Karmani Drushta Evatmanisware. When the hard knots in the heart, the biggest knot is attraction, male having attraction on the female, or attraction for the sense objects, all these, but starting the biggest knot is the male attraction to female. So that is there. from all the way from demigods to say even yogis to everyone, every living entity here in this material world. So that is the hard knot in the heart. It is calculated. So droga kamam is mentioned. So that's why here it is mentioned when the living entity practitioner comes from that Baba to Krishna Prema, then all is knots in the heart, everything, he will come to the pure goodness. No more passion, no more goodness. Complete pure goodness. So all the knots in the heart are cut to pieces. Vidyate hridaya granthis, the hard knots in the heart are cut to pieces. Chidyate sarvas, all the doubts are removed. No more doubts. And so that's why here now, once he is passing to that, he passed that stage completely in pure goodness. So then that's why here in this verse it is mentioned, Ato vai kavayo nityam. This kavi means transcendentalist. That one of the quality of a devotee is kavi. It means is also called transcendentalist. Kavi means poet. Not only poet, kavi also means transcendentalist. One who is in ecstatic emotion, then only he can write. There are so many ordinary poets. But the poets here, we are talking about Jayadev Goswami, we are talking about six Goswamis, we are talking about all these Bilomangal Thakur, all these great poets, not ordinary poets, Kavi Karnapur, Lochan Das Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda, all of them, so many poetry they have written, so many songs they have written because out of ecstatic symptoms, with those emotions they wrote the songs, so much deep emotions. So that's why they are called kavis, transcendental devotee, transcendentalists. So that's why here it means ata, means therefore. And Prabhupada emphasized therefore means here all the doubts are removed. That means they understood the ultimate essence of everything. So that will come to it in Chaitanya Charitamrita. We see that what exactly that ultimate source of everything means. We hear directly conversation between Chaitanya Krishna and Lord Brahma himself. Beautiful verses are there so that we understand actually what exactly, why we say that Krishna is the supreme personality, is the ultimate source of everything. Not only the knowledge, the beauty, everything. You name it, everything. He is the ultimate source of conclusion of all, everything. Conclusion of all the scriptures, conclusion of everything is to render pure devotion service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it is so pleasing that Atayo Kavayo Nityam. Nityam means time immemorial. So by knowing these facts, that ultimate source of everything is the ultimate creator. That's why you see, otherwise when he lifted Govardhan, when he is so small, then he can lift. The scientists are doing some things like the oceans. They are able to fly in the ocean. They are able to use so many machines, but using machines. But the Supreme Lord doesn't need anything. The big mountains, he could lift. The big mountains are floating in the air. Oceans are floating in the air. Everything is in the air. How is it impossible? If the ordinary scientists can do that, then the Supreme Lord, who is the creator of this, can he not do that? He can do that. So that is his power. So that's what he is the ultimate source of everything. The creation, everything. He is the ultimate source of the chemist, physicist, whatever we are seeing. The big scientists in the physics and chemistry, what they did is discovered is only teeny bit. But what Krishna can do, that even not even directly. The Purushavataras are doing this, floating in the air. All these universes is coming from 3 Purushavataras, not even directly in touch. That is happening through the material energy, actional energy, through Durga Devi and Lord Shiva. So you can see the power of the Supreme Lord. So one who understands this, that's why Atah Kavayo Nityam. Then time immemorial, Nityam means always. So, and Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur or Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining that Nityam means actually a regulated cultivation of topics of the hearing, the topics of the Supreme Lord, regularly, every day. It is mentioned in 12th canto, in 12th canto, 3rd chapter, general history, it is titled where it is mentioned, Yastu Ustama Sloka Gunanuvada Sangayite Avikshanam Amangalagna Tameva Nityam Sunuyad Avikshanam Krishne Amalam Bhaktis Aviksamana. The persons who desire pure devotion service Pure devotion service to Lord Krishna should hear the narrations of Lord's Uttama Sloka's glorious qualities, the constant chanting of which destroys everything inauspicious. The devotee should engage in such listening in regular daily assemblies. It is mentioned here. Regular means every day. Devotee should engage in such listening in regular daily assemblies and should also what is it? Yeah, continuous. Yeah, should also continue his hearing throughout the day. Not only in the assembly, but also you should you should also study. You should hear throughout the day. So as much as possible, that's why we see Prabhupada is so busy with so many activities, translating books. But at the same time, he himself used to chant whenever he gets time. He himself used to read his own books. He himself is sometimes used to ask, okay, now you speak. Even Prabhupada himself is there, but he will ask his devotees to speak. Because they need to get practice. They need to speak, not just learning, not just studying, but they have to speak something. It is mentioned in the purport of this verse, or other verse also. One who gives, one who is very merciful to other living, one who distributes this knowledge to others. Advancement in the devotion service is rapid. For those who are giving Krishna consciousness to others, distributing this to others, we'll discuss that. It is mentioned. So that's what Nityam means here. Kavayon, not only regularly, what continuously. It means especially regulated cultivation of topics of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Abhikshanam means constant remembrance of such regulated spiritual experiences. Then that becomes enlivening. So that's why it is mentioned, Tesham Satadiptanam Bhajatam Priti Porokam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yenavam Upyamate. One who is executing devotion service, so one who is seriously executing, one by his love and devotion is trying to come close to Krishna, then Krishna is giving the intelligence within the heart. Only when he has that loving devotion, not mechanically, not somebody forcibly doing it. No, if somebody has really love, really want to understand Krishna and his devotee, then Lord is really reciprocating, giving all the intelligence what he needs. He is arranging everything, he is adjusting everything, so that Krishna is doing within the heart. He is seeing the inquisitiveness, seeing the sincerity, seeing his enthusiasm, so seeing his surrender. Lord is doing that. So then automatically he will get the practical realization, as it is mentioned in the ninth chapter of the most confidential knowledge. Pratyaksha avaganam means susukham kartumapyam. Very happy and enlivening. So as we can see that, and by seeing the beauty of the Lord itself, also where it is mentioned here, kavayo nityam, very pleasing. One of the quality of it is ato vai kavayo nityam bhaktim paramaya muda vasudeve bhagavati kurvanta atma prasadani. Yeah. Atma prasadani means enlivening, enlivening, the pleasing. So one of the quality in nectar devotion we see that 30 or so qualities of Krishna. One of them is pleasing. That pleasing is also means attractive, very pleasing to the eyes. Because Lord has lotus eyes, Lord has lotus hands, Lord has lotus feet, Lord has lotus navel, Lord has lotus face. Eight parts of his body are like lotus. 2 hands, 2 feet, and 2 eyes. 6 navel, 7 lotus face. 8 parts of his body are like lotus. Everybody is attracted, very enchanting, very pleasing as soon as we see that. That's why we should try to offer tulsi leaves to the lotus feet of the Lord. We should try to have a beautiful pictures of Shri Radha Madhava, Shri Radha Shyam Sundar of Krishna Balaram temple, or Shri Radha Madhava of Mayapur, or our Shri Radha Shyam Sundar of our temple, or Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharana, or Shri Gaurnatai. So in this way, so by seeing them, by touching them, by feeding them, at least by touching the pictures also, they are not different actually. It is more, if they are installed, if they are deities, then more regulations are there. That's why it's more strict. But at least pictures is not so, we don't need to be so strict. So you can, the lot of flexibility is there. So that's why. So, but now here it is mentioned. Now let's say understand the quality of Krishna, the pleasing, where in multiple verses the gopis of Vrindavan, different devotees, Mother Devahuti, and various devotees are speaking. Lord Kapila is speaking. Even even when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in front of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is asking Sivananda Sen's son, Puri Das, he asked, okay, glorify, chant holy name of the Lord, chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But he is so shy, he doesn't want to say. But then further, okay, speak about the Lord. Then he spoke about the Lord's beauty. That also is so pleasing. By hearing that, hearing these qualities of the Lord, by seeing the quality, by seeing the beauty of the Lord, of the lotus face of the Lord, will develop this. It is so pleasing and enlivening. Automatically we develop attraction. Automatically tears will come from our eyes by seeing and by hearing the Lord regularly, gradually, slowly, after a few days, few months, 2 years. It depends on how sincere and serious we are. Where it is mentioned, we'll just read through this so that we can understand the, in this is in Canto 1, chapter 16, verse number 35. This is in Parikshit qualities of Krishna is explained how much. So, Kava Saheta Viraham Purushottamasya Premavaloka Ruchira Smita Valgu Jalpita Stairyam Samanam Aharan Madhu Maninim Romotsavo Mamayad Angri Vitankitaya. Who can therefore tolerate the pangs of separation from the Supreme Personality of Godhead? He could conquer the gravity and passionate wrath of his sweethearts like Satyabhama and others by his sweet smile and of love and pleasing glance and hearty appeals. When he traversed my earth, this is Bhumi, earth is speaking, Bhumi Gita. Traversed by earth's surface, I would be immersed in dust of his lotus feet, and thus would be sumptuously covered with grass, which appeared like hair standing on me out of pleasure. So, earth is speaking that how Lord Krishna's lotus feet is touching in Vrindavan. She is speaking in this beautiful. He has beautiful face and feet. So, and then he's been attracted by, so especially Satyabhama and others, by his sweet smile. And then Kapila Devahuti, Kapila is speaking to his mother also. Pasyanti me ruchirani ambasanta prasanna bhaktraruna lochanani rupani divyam varapradhani sakam vacham spruhaniyam vadanti. Oh my mother, my devotees always see the smiling face of my form with eyes like that rising morning sun. They like to see my various transcendental forms, which are all benevolent, and they also talk favorably with me. And then we see the Sivananda's son, Puri Das, speaking to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sravaso kovalayam akshno ranjanam vuraso mahendra manidhama vrundavana ramaniyam mandanam Akitam Harir Jayati. Lord Krishna is just like a bluish lotus flower for the ears. He is the ointment for the eyes. He is the necklace of the Indranila gems for the chest, and the universal ornament for the Gopi damsels of Vrindavana. Let the Lord Sri Hari be glorified. In this way, so Supreme Lord is being glorified in so many different places where it is explained now. But we are not able to come to this level of consciousness because we are being conditioned by these three modes of material nature. And this is being explained. So when King Nimi is asking the Navayogendras, these Navayogendras are part of the Lord Rishabhadev has 100 sons. Nine of them became these Navayogendras. They didn't want kingdom. And then some of them became this Bharat Maharaj is the Bharat Desh. That one of the Bharat Maharaj is coming from this Lord Rishabhadev's son. One of them is Bharat Maharaj. These great instructions are there in 5th canto. So then these Navayogendras, King Nimi is asking these Navayogendras, which is Lord Vasudev's sons, is asking, please explain Lord's illusory energy. Why is it that how the living entity is being conditioned? And a beautiful Prabhupada gives beautiful example also, because they have living entities have questions. People have questions. Karmani karmavi kurvan sa nimittam deha tat tat karma phalam grunan brahmatiha sukataram. Impelled by deep-rooted material desire, the embodied living entity engages his active sense organs in fruitive activities. He then experiences the results of his material actions by wandering throughout the world in so-called happiness and distress. Now the question may be, then people may ask this question. If Jiva is subjected to result of his previous activities, then where is the scope? There is no scope of free will. If he is constantly suffering his reaction to the previous activities, then if ordinary gentleman will not unfairly punish, and generally doesn't unfairly punish an innocent person, then how can God punish the living entities like this? This question may arise. And now Prabhupada gives a beautiful example. Just like we purchase tickets when we want to go to any country or any place, we purchase air ticket, flight ticket. We finally board the plane. Once the flight commenced, then do we have any choice? Until that point, we have a choice. Even after buying the ticket, coming to the airport, we can still not board. But once we board, once the assembly flight commences, there is no choice. We are being forced to be on the plane until we reach the next destination, whatever it's so. So that is already the action we have taken. We are being forced to get the reaction. We are being forced to be on the plane. So we cannot go beyond that. So, but after being boarded on the plane, there are so many different engagements you can do. There is still a free will. Even though so we may perform so many activities, then could be religious, irreligious. We may face reactions, definitely. Whether it's we did with ignorance or not, doesn't matter. Reactions will come. When you put your finger, child puts a finger in the fan or fire, then you can't say that, oh, I don't know, I didn't have knowledge. So, no, that is not going to happen. So, finger will burn, finger will get cut when you put in the fan or the fire. So, same way, so here reactions will come. But what will happen is if he has a free will, the free will is always there. How he uses his free will on the flight, he can take, which is whatever food he likes. He can talk with people. He can spend his time in so many different ways. He can discuss with business people. He can discuss business engagements, how to improve his business. So, favorable and unfavorable in terms of the material activities. But if he uses the same time efficiently in relation to the Supreme Lord, so same free will is given. Even though he is being forced to get reaction to be on the plane until next destination, same way as we are. So we are at a destination. We have received this destination after coming out from mother's womb. There is free will. It is a reaction of a previous activity we have received. We have entered, come out of agati gati. This is a destination we have received based on the past activities, certain family, certain appearance, certain height, everything, a certain opulence, certain piety. Because of that, we have all these things. Then what is the future? How you live, even though whatever things going on based on the previous activities, but how we use that free will, we can still utilize into Lord service despite whatever may go on. Then what will happen is Krishna will nullify those. Krishna will remove those difficulties. Krishna will remove all those sinful activities if you use that free will. If you use the free will, still continue on with the same material, despite getting already we are seeing the reaction, but still we are not learning the lesson and continue on, then what will happen? Illusory energy will continue. Will keep on going downwards. We cannot even get human birth. That will be the problem. But if we engage in the Lord service, it is mentioned, Atas Indra Gopam Ato Yastu Indra Gopam Ahoswakaram Bandanurupam Falabhajana Matanoti Karmani Nirdhat Kinchuta Bhakti Vajam Govinda Majapurusham Tamham Bhajam. from Indra Gopa to Indra. Indra is the demigod. Indra Gopa is the smallest insect. So they can, all of them can perform, but they will be able to come out of these miserable activities, come out of all the sinful activities. Krishna will nullify all of them. You cannot even imagine how much, unlimited. Krishna can take away everything, but provided we are using that free will in serving the Supreme Lord. So that's what, and then that's what Prabhupada is explaining, that with that example. If despite we are getting reaction, despite being forced to get the reaction, but it's not that Lord is somehow, he wants to punish. No, actually, even though we are getting reaction because of our own action, but still Lord is so merciful that he is trying to give us so many different ways, teaching lessons through devotees, through the books, through, through his own Acha Vigraha, through spiritual master, so many different ways. He is always trying to teach us lessons, giving us chance to come out of this miserable condition. But we are the one who is not using that free will in a right way. So that's what here Prabuddha and others, Navayogendra is speaking to King Nimi, and then they explain beautifully what they should do. And then they give example. Okay, go through the list. He went on the list. Whether you take King Prudu Maharaj, you take King Bharat Maharaj, he lists so many kings. Are they there now? They did so much. They went on fighting with other kings and amassing so many things, the lands and military and whatnot, opulence and name and fame. But what is happening now? Where are they now? This is the first thing Prabhupada also said to Ambarish Maharaj, not Ambarish Prabhu, Henry IV's grandson, when he met. First time, he didn't even know. First time Prabhupada, he is meeting with Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said, "So, you are a grandson of Henry IV. Where is he now?" Then immediately you can see, so right away is cutting the knot, right away, bodily concept of life. We may be proud of that descendants, that I am wealthy, coming from wealthy background, but right away, Prabhupada could do that. So because the pure devotee can cut the knot, right away see through the heart of the other living and opposite person what is happening. So Ambarish Prabhu shared that experience. So this is what here also King Navayogendra is speaking. All these kings, they did so many things, but where are they now? So what is their destination? Despite having so many things, name, fame, whatnot, in the material sense, but in terms of the spiritual identity and their spiritual goal, where are they now? So that, and then what they are supposed to do, what a living entity now. Now we understand the problem, what they are supposed to do. Then they explained in 11.3.21 to 28. Beautiful. First thing they mentioned is, in order for any living entity to come out of this cycle, there is no other way but to surrender to a spiritual master. Therefore, is coming again. Ato vai. Therefore, as it is mentioned, the conclusion is, we have to come to that ultimate point is to surrender to the Supreme Lord through a Guru. The same thing here also is mentioning that Tasmat Gurum Prapadyas Jignaso Sreyamatvam Sabde Parej Nishnatam Brahmana Upasamatsrenam. That is 11.3.20. First point they are mentioning. In order for these living entities going through so many cycles. So for the first and foremost important point is surrender. Tasmat Gurum. Therefore, it is mandatory, it is a must mandatory for them to surrender to a spiritual master. And the quality of spiritual master is mentioned. Prapadya means prapanna, prapadya means surrender. Guru, spiritual master, bona fide spiritual. Jignaso Sreyam Uttamam. Uttamam means Udgata Tamam iti Uttamam. It means moving from darkness to darkness or ignorance to light, or to the transcendental goodness. Uttamam. Uttama sloka, Lord is called in that way. So, Jignaso Sreyamatam. One who is inquisitive to move from this darkness to the light. Jignaso Sreya means he is looking for permanent benefit. He wants to move to that higher transcendence. Then what he has to supposed to do? Jignaso Sreyamatam. Sabde Parecha Nishnatam. The quality of a guru is mentioned. Sabde Parecha Nishnatam. Sabde means he is always, the guru is situated in transcendental knowledge. Fully transcendent. Sabde Parecha means Brahman. He is situated, he knows the Brahma Janati Brahmana. Not theoretically, practically achar and vichar. He is speaking, but he is also operating on the completely pure Brahman platform. And he understands the connection with the Parabrahman. So that's why Sabde Parecha Nishnadam. Pare means transcendental Brahman, Parabrahman. Nishnadam is expert in understanding the scripture, understanding the transcendental knowledge, and is also expert in explaining others. Sabde Parecha Nishnadam. Brahmani Upasamasrayanam. Means he is at the topmost level. He is taking shelter of the Supreme Lord. He has understood the relation with the Supreme Lord. He is operating. But he is also explaining to the others. He is bringing others close. Like upavas. It means anytime fasting means it is coming close to the Supreme Lord. More than fasting, more than rules and regulation, it is for us to spend time in chanting, spend time in serving, spend time in cooking, spend time in garland, like any of those. Anything in relation with Supreme Lord, whatever we do, that is what. More time we have to, less time think about the food, less time think about cooking, this and that. Spend more time in serving, even if it is a half an hour, 1 hour. Fasting, the main, upavas means that is the same thing. Samasrayanam, as it is mentioned, Samasrayanam is in Ramanuja Sampradaya call the initiation process. But here it is, Sabde Parech Nishnatam, Brahmana, Brahmana, what is it? Sabde Parech Nishnatam, Brahmana, Samasrayanam. So, he is completely expert and is situated on topmost platform, and he is teaching others, he is bringing others to this transcendental level by one who surrenders to this personality. That is the quality of the spiritual master, who is at the Uttamadhikari. He comes to the level of Madhyamadhikari so that he can differentiate. Uttamadhikari means he cannot differentiate. He thinks that he is the lowest. Everybody is at the highest. If he is at that level, then he cannot differentiate. Then he cannot preach. So that's why the pure devotee, they come from Uttamadhikari stage to Madhyamadhikari, and then they preach, because they have to distinguish and understand who is who is at what level, and then try to bring them. So that is the first and foremost point they are mentioning in this 11.3.21. Further, they are mentioning that that accepting Guru, then what we are supposed to do. Rupa Goswami has given 4 things, important things must be done. Accepting Guru as a life and soul and as a worshipable deity, the Guru, we must accept and learn from him without any duplicity. That is a very important quality. And faithful and favorable. We must be very faithful to the spiritual master and favorable. We must be always try to execute favorably, not unfavorably. So we have to look for whenever service is there, how can I serve, how can I please? That is the mood, that should be the consciousness. So then further it is mentioned that, so the Jiva Goswami is commenting that Ananda Dhimani Bhutani Jayante. In this way, when somebody living entity surrenders and follows in this way, without duplicity, making Guru as life and soul and worshipable deity, then automatically will come to this Anandambudhi Vardhanam. Yesterday we were discussing. That is the highest. This is the pleasing, enlivening to the senses. The speciality of this pure devotion service. We are talking about this verse. That is what we will come to, that enlivening. Automatically we will come to the senses, all our mind, into everything, the whole body, gross, subtle body, everything becomes so much enlivening that there is we will not have any attraction for any material things. So when we taste the Mahaprasad, that is the constant. We see that Prabhupada, how he tastes Mahaprasad. So he is at that level. That's why he doesn't do anything else and takes 45 minutes or so. Prasad. Alone he sits, no talking, nothing, just simply taste. He is simply absorbed in how Krishna has tasted with his lips all these items. That is the consciousness he is taking. So because that is what he is, everything, all his senses are enlivened at that level. When somebody is that consciousness doing any activity, not only taking prasad, honoring prasad. So that's what Srila Prabhupada is teaching us. The consciousness we have to come to that. That is the highest bar. So there, when Rupa Goswami gives the 4 things. First one is this, Guru Padashraya Tasmat. One must surrender to the lotus feet of spiritual master. Then Krishna Dekshadi Sikshanam, taking initiation from the spiritual master. Then Vishramba Grover Seva, serving the spiritual master faithfully, favorably. And then Sadhu Vartaman Vartanam, following instructions. So these are the 4 instructions. Then this is the second point they mentioned. After surrendering, then what we are supposed to do. Then the third they are mentioning that we must be detached from slowly and gradually internally from the material things. Oh, this belongs to me, this is for me, this is for my enjoyment. When will I get this? When will I get that? So this list goes on. Life after life, this is going on. There is no end to it. Desires are not ending, never ending story. So this is what internal detachment. That means it doesn't mean that we no need to have. No, rather how to use that also they will, here it is mentioned. They are talking detachment from the material thing, but at the same time attachment to the sadhus. And further it is mentioned merciful to the inferior, those who are they are just coming to Krishna consciousness, they haven't even started. So merciful to those, or at least little inclined, then merciful to those. And then also friendship to the equal. So Rupa Goswami also talks in Nectar of Instruction, this same point, that these 3 levels, Isvara, Tadadina, Balishes, this is to the Krupa, Maitri, Upeksha, Sa Bhakti, Bhakta, Madhyama. Madhyamadikari is supposed to do this. Merciful to inferior, merciful to those beginners, and then friendship to the equal levels, those who are at the equal level, friendship, and those who are advanced, then we must always try to get knowledge from them, try to serve them, understand how to progress, meekly serve those in higher position. So that this is the next instruction they are giving. Further they are giving the what disciples should learn. This is also very important qualities. Cleanliness. This is external cleanliness and internal cleanliness. 2 times we must take bath at least. Doesn't matter summer or winter. Especially after coming to US, this is another great difficulty. So especially in winter, summer it's naturally will take, but in winter we don't, because a minute we take. But what will happen is we are so much caught up with passion and ignorance. When we take bath, automatically at least some extent will clear up those thoughts and so many things. We become a little bit peaceful. That's what water naturally does it. So that's why we should take bath again in the evening. Prabhupada used to take 3 times. In the afternoon, morning, evening, 3 times. That is the natural one, but we cannot do that. We are working on so many other things. At least 2 times we should. This is the cleanliness. That is external. Internal cleanliness means how to use mind, basically chanting the holy name, engaging our senses, hearing, serving, cooking, all those various things. Engaging basically our body limbs. Manasa karmana gira. So using our mind, body, intelligence, senses, speech in Krishna service. Nikilas avastasu karmabir sabadhyate. And this way, so then we will be able to come to the liberation. Yeah, that's what Jiva Goswami is giving that verse. So the next point, the cleanliness and tolerance. We must tolerate. We discussed that yesterday also. And austerity. Austerity means waking up to chant the holy name of the Lord, attending the festivals, or doing special increased rounds of chanting, or reading, or hearing. These are all austerity. Nothing complicated. Austerity is basically avoiding, instead of half an hour time going somewhere else, rather that time we spend in Krishna. That is austerity. Because majority, 99% of the people are not doing this. Because their austerity is in somewhere else. Here, our main here they are talking austerity is using the time in Krishna service in various activities of devotional activity. That is what it means. Austerity means not so much about don't eat anything, fast so much. No, even Prabhupada has taken, even on Nityananda, even on the festival days also, Prabhupada used to take fruits. It's not. We are not so much about starving. No, we are about especially how to actually increase our consciousness absorption in Krishna and Guru and their service. That is more important than the rules, more important than the actual physical austerity. It is more internal. Everything is clear. Consciousness means it's all internal, more internal than the physical, external things. So on tolerance, we discussed. Then silence. Yes, silence means when Guru is there, when the sadhu is there, I have to say something, I should speak something. No, we shouldn't just keep talking, blubbing out. No, we shouldn't speak anything and everything. If it is really required, something is bothering, then we should say politely and pleasing manner, we should express it. But otherwise, we should try to hear. So sometimes Prabhupada went for morning walk, hardly said anything. He didn't say anything. Sometimes they have so many, he asked questions, they said so many things. So again, so spiritual master sadhu, we cannot understand his mood. So we have to observe and then act accordingly. That's what silence means. Silent doesn't mean Mauna Vrata. So many people follow Mauna Vrata and doesn't want to speak. But that is not the silence here talking about. More using. So like so many people may be doing different things next to us, watching TV or smoking, this or that, so many things. We are absorbed in our consciousness. We are not so much trying to dwell in those things. Why he is doing this? Why he is doing that? Then unnecessarily we are going into that consciousness. Rather, we become silent to those, and rather we think about what we are supposed to do. That's what it also means. Then the study of Vedic knowledge, and then the simplicity. Simplicity is also important for devotee. Duplicity we should avoid, and simplicity. That means heart should be clean. What we say externally outside and what we keep in the heart is should be the same. Because sometimes devotees say something outside, but internally they think something else, which is not good. Gradually, we have to remove that unwanted thing. It should be devotee means it should be simple, simple at heart. So it's a very natural, simple, straightforward. Arjavam. This is a very important point. Celibacy, non-violence. Yes, that means many times we see devotees also. If they see bug, they see a mosquito, they see a cockroach, immediately they kill or something. Many times, no, the Prabhupada told no. I should kill you. Prabhupada used to tell the disciples, because you maintain cleanliness. Why you are maintaining such that you are attracting the other living entities? So don't do that unless if it is really, if mosquito is biting, then you can do that because it is harming you. Then you can do that. Then you will not get reaction. But unnecessarily, if you do that, then you are going to get reaction. So that's what it is. Non-violence means not just directly killing an animal or something. No, it's also any living entity. So we have to be very careful. So with that, and that also means non-violence. With devotees, when we how we treat devotees, we shouldn't non-violence verbally, speech. That is also there is a different levels of violence. That is also coming under that. Criticizing or using with harsh words. That is also kind of violence. So we have to very carefully. Equanimity in dualities. Yes, happiness, distress. Sometimes big promotion may come. Sometimes or no promotion, demotion, or sometimes difficulty. So many things may happen. But we should be balanced. We shouldn't be overjoyed. We shouldn't be jumping. Or at the same time, we shouldn't be lamenting. Whatever with the will of the providence, whatever everything, we must take it as Krishna's mercy. So these are the qualities. So they are mentioning. And then further, they are mentioning what we should do. So they are mentioning the firm faith on Shastra and avoid blasphemy of the other scriptures. The rigid control of the mind and speech, bodily activities, speaking the truth. Mind and senses must be under control. And then they are mentioning this. Sravanam Kirtanam Dhyanam Harer Adbhuta Karmana Janma Karma Gunanam Cha Tat Prute Akila Chestitam. Yeah, everything must be done for the Supreme Lord. Akila Chestitam. Krishnartha Akila Chesta. Prabhupada speaks this in many classes. Krishnartha Akila Chesta. That means any endeavor, any activity, we must do it for the pleasure of Sarvan Sri Krishna. Everything must be done for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord and Guru. Whatever. After doing the whole festival like Jagannath Snan Yatra, Ratha Yatra, whatever, Janmashtami, then Sarvan Sri Krishna at the lotus feet of spiritual master and Krishna. So everything. Please forgive whatever offenses I might have done by mistake, unknowingly or unknowingly, but accept everything. Let me be attracted. Let me develop attachment to your lotus feet. That's all we should be asking for. And try to, please let me not be attracted by Maya. Prabhupada himself used to pray in this way every day. Let me not be attracted. He is a pure devotee, but he is praying. He is teaching us a lesson. Mahaprabhu is also teaching lesson in that way. I don't have any devotion speaking. So I'm ready to, so even if you kill me, trample me, please, so life after life, I'm yours. This is what Kinkara means. I am yours always. I don't have anything. I am yours. You are mine. That is the Mahaprabhu is teaching us. So that is here they are mentioning. Always try to Sravanam, hearing. Bhagavad Dharma means this is the main point. Sravanam and Kirtan, these two things are the important. Pancharatra Vidhi we follow in worshipping deity, initiation, those are under the Pancharatra Vidhi. But more important every day, throughout while we are cooking, whatever work we do, internally we must be following, chanting the holy name of the Lord. That is being mentioned, that is what they are mentioning here. Sravanam, Kirtanam, Dhyanam. When we do perfectly Sravanam, Kirtanam, naturally we will remember and meditate, Dhyanam will happen. Otherwise, Dhyanam cannot happen automatically. Harer Adbhuta Karmana, whose activities, that is the transcendental activities of the Supreme Lord Hari. Janma Karma Gunanamcha, their birth and activities of the Supreme Lord. Tad Prute Akila Chestitam, yes, I mentioned. Then we must offer everything what we do. Istam Dattam Tapo Japtam, like we see, oh, there's nice fruit, oh, there's nice vegetable. Whatever, wherever we go to market, we may be going to shopping. Oh, this looks nice jewelry. This looks a nice dress, nice cloth. Let me buy for the Lord. This is it. In this way, you might have attraction. Okay, I don't want to go for shopping or I want to eat this. All right, but gradually use. Okay, let me buy for this. Let me offer to the Lord. Then take. Then gradually that material thing will transfer into the spiritual things. That's how we have to transfer. Wherever we go, we are constantly thinking of the Lord. Oh, can I offer this? Can I buy this? Can I do this? So constantly thinking, what will spiritual master need? He may need something. Prabhupada may need something. So always constantly thinking. So what can I get? So in this way, this must be the absorption. So that's what here they are speaking. The second verse, 11.3.28. Istam dattam tapo japtam vruttam yascha atmana priyam daram suta daram suta gruhan pranan yat parasmai nivedanam, including daran, wife, suta, kids, gruha, home, prana, his own life, must be used in the service of the Supreme Lord. Parasmai nivedanam, like Bali Maharaj. So that's what they are instructing in this Navayoga King Nimi, the illusion energy, how to come out of the illusory energy, external energy of the Lord, the power of the external energy, how to surmount these three modes. Then they are instructing in this way. This is the only medicine, only remedy to come out of that. There is no other possibility, whether we like it or not like it. So this is this is what they are explaining, how we can come out of it. And now, so let's understand this. So the supremacy of the Supreme Lord is being explained. Beautiful explanation is given in Madhya Leela of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So just quickly try to go over, already 9:10. So Agati Eka Gatim Natva Hina Arda Adhika Sadhakanam Sri Chaitanyam Likami Asya Madhurya Aishwarya Sikaram. So just about the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then we will discuss Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what he is saying about the supremacy of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Offering my obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, let me describe a particle of his opulence and sweetness. He is the most valuable for a fallen conditioned soul, bereft of spiritual knowledge. He is the only shelter for those who do not know the real goal of life. So, he is the highest opulence and sweetness. Sikrana, Madhurya Aishwarya Sikram. So now we will try to read quickly about how Lord Brahma has announced visited almost 40 verses. Let's see how quickly we can go. This is chapter 21 in Madhya Leela. Once when Krishna was ruling Dwaraka, Lord Brahma came to see him. The doorman immediately informed Lord Krishna about Brahma's arrival. He mentioned, Ekadina Dwaraka Taye Krishna Deki Bare Brahma ila Dwarapala Janaila Krishnere. So there it is mentioned then what's happening then. When Krishna was so informed, he immediately asked the doorman, which Brahma are you talking about? What is his name? Then the doorman therefore returned and questioned Lord Brahma. When the doorman asked which Brahma, Lord Brahma was surprised. He told the doorman, please go and inform Lord Krishna that I am the four-headed Brahma who is the father of the four Kumaras. See the proud So he was surprised himself. Then further the conversation going on. So adornment then informed Lord Krishna of Lord Brahma's description. Lord Krishna gave him permission to enter. The doorman entered Lord Brahma in, and as soon as Brahma saw Lord Krishna, he offered obeisances at his lotus feet. Then after being worshipped by Lord Brahma, Lord Krishna also honored him with suitable words. Then Lord Krishna asked him, "Why have you come here?" And this is Lord Krishna is asking. Then, being questioned, Lord Brahma immediately replied, "Later I shall tell you. Later I shall tell you why I have come. But first of all, there is a doubt in my mind which I wish you should kindly dissipate." So, what is that question? What is the doubt? Why did you inquire which Brahma had come to see you? What is the purpose of such inquiry? Is there any other Brahma besides me within this universe? See that. So this is Lord Brahma is asking Lord Krishna. This is explaining, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining this. So nowhere else you will find this. So this is the highest literature you can see. Then Krishna started explaining. Upon hearing this, Sri Krishna smiled and immediately meditated. Unlimited Brahmas arrived instantly. Instantly. As soon as Lord Krishna thought about it. These Brahmas had different numbers of heads. Some had 10 heads, some 20, some 100, some 1,000, some 10,000, some 100,000, some 10 million, others 100 million. No one can count the number of faces they had. And then further, there also arrived many Lord Shivas with various heads, numbering 100,000 and 10 million. Many Indras also arrived, and they had hundreds of thousands of eyes all over their bodies. Yeah, because this is the Indra specialty. Indra has a curse that because it's too much lust, then he's being cursed. You will have eyes all over your body. So that's why you can see here it is mentioned thousands of hundreds of thousands of eyes all over their body. Indras. But Brahma is heads. So that's why Brahma, because he has to deal with Brahma has to deal with so many things. So this whole universe, that's why he has four heads. But this is a small. Here Krishna will speak that. When the four-headed Brahma of this universe saw all these opulence of Krishna, he became very much bewildered and considered himself a rabbit among many elephants. So you could understand what is his insignificant position. All the Brahmas who came to see Krishna offered their respects at his lotus feet, and when they did this, their helmets touched his lotus feet. No one can estimate the inconceivable potency of Krishna. All the Brahmas who were there were resting in the one body of Krishna. When all the helmets are struck together at Krishna's lotus feet, there was a tumultuous sound. It appeared that the helmet themselves were offering prayers onto Krishna's lotus feet. With folded hands, all the Brahmas and Shivas began to offer prayers unto Lord Krishna, saying, "O Lord, you have shown me a great favor. I have been able to see your lotus feet." All of them then said, "It is my great fortune, Lord, that you have called me, thinking of me as your servant. Now let me know what your order is, so that I may carry it on my head." Lord Krishna replied, "Since I want to see all of you together, I have called all of you here. All of you should be happy. Is there any fear from the demons?" Krishna is because anyway they are here. He's asking because this happens time to time. So that's why I ask. Whatever burden was upon the earth, you have taken away by descending to that planet. They are speaking. This is the proof of Dwaraka's opulence. All the Brahmas thought, Krishna is now staying in my jurisdiction. Thus, the opulence of Dwaraka was perceived by each and every one of them. Although they were all assembled together, no one could see anyone but himself. So, no one could see anyone but himself. You can see. Lord Krishna then bade farewell to all the Brahmas there, and after offering their obeisance, they all returned to their respective homes. After observing all these opulences, the four-headed Brahma of this universe was astonished. He again came before the lotus feet of Krishna and offered him obeisances. Brahma then said, hear this, "Whatever I formerly decided about my knowledge, I have just now had personally verified. There are people who say, I know everything about Krishna. Let them think that way. As far as I am concerned, I do not wish to speak very much about this matter. Oh my Lord, let me say this much. As far as your opulence are concerned, they are all beyond the reach of my mind, body and words." Brahma himself is saying. Imagine what is our position. Uh, Krishna said, your particular universe has a diameter of 4 billion miles. Therefore, it is the smallest of all the universes. Consequently, you have only 4 heads. Because 4 billion miles are there. So, you have only 4 heads to deal with it. Krishna is speaking. He is giving the knowledge to himself. Brahma doesn't even know this. Some of the universe are 1 billion yojanas in diameter, some 1 trillion, some 10 million, some 100 trillion yojanas. Thus, they are almost unlimited in area. And imagine, this is only in the material world. This is 1/4 of the whole Brahmanda. 1/4 is material world, 3/4 is spiritual world. Imagine what is the vastness of spiritual world. Imagine what kind of variety is there in the spiritual world. But we become so proud of what we have, and we think that we are getting greatest enjoyment. So that's why we need to know these details. Then we know what are we talking about, what Krishna means, what Supreme Lord Sri Krishna means, what is his power, what is his opulence. Without knowing it, we'll keep on speculating, but without realizing what it is. So further it is mentioned, according to the size of the universe, there are so many heads on the body of Brahma. In this way, I maintain innumerable universes, Brahmandas. No one can measure the length and breadth of the 1/4 of my energy manifested in this material world, as I was mentioning, 1/4. Who can measure the 3/4 that is manifested in the spiritual world? See, this is 87, 88. Further, it is mentioned, beyond the river Viraja is the spiritual nature. Yeah, between material world and spiritual world, there is a Viraja river. There is a personality, the demigod, the goddess. Viraja. There is conversation also in some other, I think in other book of the Chaitanya, Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, another book. There is a conversation. So, there is a very deep meaning. In this way, Lord Krishna bade farewell to the 4-headed Brahma of this universe. You may thus understand that no one can calculate the extent of Krishna's energies. There is a very deep meaning in the word Trai Adishwara, which indicates that Krishna possesses 3 different lokas or natures. The 3 lokas are Gokula, Goloka, Mathura, and Dwaraka. Krishna lives eternally in these 3 places, as you know. Dwaraka Krishna is different, from Mathura Krishna is different, and Golok Vrindavan Krishna is different. Comparative, superlative, I forget, no. Natural, comparative, superlative, something like that. Confidential, more confidential, most confidential. Like that. So the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna in Vrindavan is the topmost form. All opulence is everything. That is the highest form. In Dwaraka is more in Aishwarya. Mathura also has similar like that. But only in Vrindavan he has everything, opulence, but more in Madhurya, full of Madhurya. To the highest pinnacle, highest level. Swakiya, Parakiya, everything, you name it, everything is there. But nothing of material qualities. Even if it is Parakiya, also still nothing of material qualities. There is a beautiful pastime. In the recording, I will share that. The 2 pastimes are there. Why Lord Jagannath, actually 3. Why Lord Jagannath has come, why he has taken the form. So, in that pastime, it is explained about even we think something else. Would Parakiya Ras, why Radharani has a husband, all how they are submitting to Radharani, that is been explained in that pastime. Why Lord Balram comes out first, all those are explained in that pastime. When we see Rath Yatra, who comes first, whose Rath is first, all those are there in that pastime. So let me finish this here and then we'll conclude. In this way, Lord Krishna, there is a very, these 3 places are full of internal potencies, and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is their sole proprietor. As previously mentioned, the jewels of the helmets of all the predominating deities of all the universes and Vaikuntha planet touched the throne of the Lord and the lotus feet of the Lord when those deities all offered obeisances. When the gems on the helmets of all the predominating deities collided before the throne and the Lord's lotus feet, there was a jingling sound which seemed like prayers offered by the helmets at Krishna's lotus feet. Krishna is thus situated eternally in his spiritual potency, and the opulence of that spiritual potency is called Sad Aishwarya, including 6 kinds of opulence. Because he possesses the spiritual potency which fulfill all his desires, Krishna is accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the Vedic version. The unlimited Unlimited potencies of Krishna are just like the ocean of nectar. Since one cannot bathe within that ocean, I have only touched a drop of it. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was thus describing the opulence and spiritual potencies of Lord Krishna in this way, there was awakening of love of Krishna within him. His mind became immersed in the sweetness of conjugal love, and he quoted the following verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Let me quote this verse and then we'll conclude. It's mentioned here. To exhibit the strength of his own spiritual potency, Lord Krishna manifested a form just suitable for his pastimes in the material world. This form was wonderful even for him and was the supreme abode of the wealth of the good fortune. Its limbs were so beautiful that they increased the beauty of the ornaments worn on different parts of his body. Yan Martya Leela Upaikam Swayoga Maya Balam Darshayata Grihitam Vismapanam Swasya Cha Sobhagarde Param Padam Bhushana Bhushanangam. This is the decoration of the Supreme Lord's body. This is from the conversation between Budra and Uddhava. So in this way you can understand now. So Ato Vai Kavayo Nityam. That Nityam means the constantly discussing regulated activities or topics of Lord Krishna. Ato Vai Kavayo Nityam. Bhaktim Paramaya Muda. It's a great delight. You can see how much with great delight this the Vidura and Uddhava speaking the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself is he appeared as a devotee in the mood of Srimad Radharani. He is speaking to so various different devotees. Speaking to the six Goswamis, is speaking to others, other personality, exalted devotees, his associates, about the qualities of the Supreme Lord, the highest level. So beyond what we can imagine. Brahma himself couldn't even imagine, understand, but he thought he is the only one. Brahma means, but we understand. So that's what. Then when we understand this, the opulence of the Supreme Lord, his beauty of the Supreme Lord, his power, everything full, all his mellows, all the rasas, then that's what Krishna consciousness. It's just not one. His energies, his opulence, his devotees, all this, when we say absolute truth, this is what it means. Bhakti Tattva, Rasa Tattva, Shakti Tattva, Guru, everything, all this coming together. So together is called Krishna consciousness. That's what. Then devotees constantly engage in transcendental service to the Supreme Lord and the spiritual master and devotees. So they get so much pleasure, immense pleasure. It is not comparable to anything what we find in the material world. So that's what this verse is there for. After explaining all these various stages, initially there may not be, mechanically we may do, but gradually we will come to that stage. So we can feel the difference. So we get exhausted, just like any service. No, we might have done Ekadashi, we might have done different festivals, we might have attended. Imagine the same thing you try to do with friends or try to do material activities, your job or other business or other things, and compare, see how much difference, how much strength. If we are sincerely done it, then a big difference and so much pleasure we get, so much happy, no tiredness. At least that's what I have seen past many years. Be huge difference from what I used to do before and how much different. So much energy easily used to get tired to fast or to do anything. But here no tiredness. We used to do so much janmas. Now we are doing inside the temple, but we used to do outside. Whole day we have to spend Janmashtami festival and throughout, and then it goes on to the midnight, and then we start wrap up outside program, huge program, so much stuff. We used to spend it almost like we sleep next day morning, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 5 o'clock, like that. We come back from the rental place. So you imagine. But still there is no tiredness. Next day we start again because Prabhupada appearance day. Next day Janmashtami. Again we continue. There is no tiredness whatsoever. So where is that? Even after going Radhayatra walking, if anybody else does that, then despite we might do so many other services, but no tiredness and so much pleasure is there. So this is what actually we can feel that. Once we start doing this, then we know. So because we ourselves have to realize, nobody, we can only say, I can only speak, but unless we act and we see ourselves and we get realization, then we know, then our faith is strengthened, then we progress further. If we don't act, we don't perform that service, then there is no pratyaksha avagavam dharmyam susukam kartum abhyam. Pratyaksha, we must practically ourselves we have to perceive it. Then realization will be there, then progress is more and more faster in that way. So that way we must do some service always. So that's what here we can see from this verse. That's why they are concluding. In this way we get so much pleasure and joy, Anandamba, it increasing and increasing day after day, even at the highest level, Paramahamsas, Prabhupada, and pure devotees, six Goswamis, even at that level also, they never tired. Even at Raghunath Das Goswami is offering obeisance to Govardhan at the last stage also. Mahaprabhu said, you don't need to do this. Then he gives Aligram, you just do this, then that means it automatically doing Govardhan Parikrama. Then he started doing that. Even Haridas Thakur, he was leaving almost, he was very old, his body cannot even, he couldn't do it. But he said, no, now I am in so much distress because I am not able to complete my rounds. So many rounds he used to do every day, and he couldn't complete. He doesn't want to take. Mahaprasad used to offer his obeisance and took a little portion of it. And so you can imagine this is the consciousness. So much they get so much absorption. They are so much in getting the pleasure. And even the external body doesn't mean anything. So they might be old, they might deformed body might have so many difficulties, but internally they are fully at the highest level. So this is what pure devotees means. Most of the time they don't exhibit. Prabhupada hardly exhibited. Few times he exhibited, but they don't exhibit the actual bhavas, ecstatic symptoms, because otherwise it will be a problem. So, but they are internally are fully at that level, Krishna prema. So much in ecstasy in devotion service. So any quick questions? 9:30 already. Any quick questions devotees have or thought? Okay, no questions. We'll end class. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Prabhupada ki jai.